So while I wait for my co-host to come in, let me
Hi
go ahead and
there.
there she is. There she is.
Sorry about that.
Hey.
I saw you trying to connect me, but I could not,
Uh-huh.
I didn't have access to the button. So
Ah,
you
okay.
had to give me
Well,
access.
oh, I did. Okay, my bad. Okay, so you want to go ahead and start the show?
Yes, I want to start the show. I want to say happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you for joining us here, taking the time to out of your busy day to just stop by and hang out with us. We appreciate your time. We decided to switch things up this week. So you'll see I'm asking the questions, and the expert Tyrone will be answering all the questions about all things Disney. Again, you can catch us on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and what's the other one, Tyrone?
iTunes.
iTunes. So please join
There we
in.
go.
And if you have any questions while we're going through the series, just type it in and we'll answer them as we go. So, being that we don't have any outstanding questions this week, so we're going to kick it off. So, my first question to you, Tyrone, is because I know you go to Disney every other week. So, with that being
That's funny.
said, with that being said, for someone who I've been to Disney a couple of times, but I've never had to plan it because I've had relatives to plan it for me. And it seems intimidating, to be honest with you, because it's just so much information to look at with everything. How do you suggest someone new like myself trying to plan a trip to Disney, or just a family as a whole who've never been there? How do you suggest we kick off our planning process for Disney?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay, first of all, the tips that we've given over the past few months about planning and planning early, they definitely apply at Disney.
Okay.
Now, you and I are lucky. We're about 6 hours, 7 hours drive from here, but a lot of people aren't. So say if somebody's coming from California or wherever else they want to fly, the same things we've been saying, plan early. If as far as your flights and getting the best deals on your flights, plan early.
Okay.
That's number one. The same thing applies to Disney. Now, depending on your budget, you can stay inside the park or outside the park. Okay. Usually, inside the park is a lot more expensive, but if you plan early, you can still find some good deals. I actually found some rooms for like $99 a night
Wow.
in some of the Disney parks. But again, you have to plan early. So that's rule number one: is start your planning early. If you're going to Disney in March, you don't start planning it now. You started planning it back in September
Okay.
or August of last year.
Okay.
That's the best thing. So you plan early. Now we'll get into the first of all, let me back up. You got to remember something about Disney World. It's a business.
Yes.
I mean, people think it's the magical place on earth, and it is. It's an awesome place. But you got to remember something. This is a business.
Yes.
And what's that? That to paraphrase Las Vegas, what happens in Disney pays in Disney. Okay, you're gonna pay for
Yeah.
it. But it's a magical time. It's a great place. But they are a business. And if you don't believe that, you just look at trying to buy tickets now. Where I go to AAA and get my tickets. You can get a little bit of a discount. There's a couple of ways to get inexpensive tickets in Disney.
Okay.
First of all, is if you're a Florida resident,
Mm-hmm.
you're a Florida resident, you can get an annual pass. I think it's about $1,100, which sounds crazy, except that it's an annual pass. You can go as much as you want.
Okay.
Okay, so you live there. That's because they're encouraging the locals to come. The second way to get in a cheaper admission is if you know somebody that works there and they can walk you in.
Okay.
We don't all know people that work there. But it goes back to that planning thing because I was, I want to do some formal research for this episode, even though I've been like 13 times. Question from Jennifer: is it cheaper to go during the week? You might find a cheaper room. You may find a cheaper flight, depending on what part of the week you're going. But the way Disney is structuring their tickets now, the ticket prices literally change by day.
Wow.
Whereas used to be you could get your admission tickets now, and I could use them in March, April, May, June, whenever, and they were the same price. Nowadays, Disney, you go in there and it's by day. The prices change $5, $10 a day, depending on when you start your trip. The other thing, I'm
No,
sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question for you though. So you
Uh-huh.
said it depends on when you start your trip. And now
Right.
it doesn't matter what day you go on, there's a price structure. Okay,
Right.
so if I just say, for instance, I'm going as a solo, I travel solo, and I'm just going by myself. So you're saying it's okay to plan early, but you're also saying it doesn't really matter if you plan early because the ticket structure is the same, unless you know somebody that works at Disney or you go to
Mm-hmm.
AAA, or so it doesn't. As far as buying the theme park tickets, I can wait until I get there to get them, and they'll still be the same price.
Uh, if you plan early, you might find days that are cheaper, and you might want to, if you have some flexibility when you travel, you
Okay,
can maybe set your travel days around, because you can look out several months and see what the prices are going to be.
gotcha.
And you can shift your travel dates maybe a little bit depending on when. Um, and this is another good question. When you want to go. Another good question, and I hope I answered that. But another one was, you don't have small kids anymore. Do they have fun adult stuff? Yes. Okay. I'm a big kid at heart. Let's Vicky, you know that I'm a big kid at heart. Um, I've enjoyed watching my child grow up at Disney, seeing him grow up. There's some adult stuff too. There are lots of adults who go without kids,
I'm sorry to
particularly.
interrupt you, Tyrone, but you're going in and out.
Oh, really?
You're breaking up. For some reason, you're breaking up.
That's weird. Okay, I thought we had. I'm not doing anything different, am I? Got you on face. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Because the video has pretty much,
Can you hear?
I hear you, but you're breaking up, and the video has pretty much stopped on you. I don't know if
I
everyone
think
else is
it's okay.
experiencing it.
I don't think so. I'm seeing you live still. I'm seeing you live, and me live. I'll just keep going. If anybody's online, if you're having trouble, let us know, because we're getting two different experiences. I want to make sure that you guys aren't getting it.
Yes.
Um,
So
but
they
yeah,
may
I'm
not be
seeing you.
having the
I'm
same
seeing you.
experience. So,
Yeah, but I'm seeing you with no interruption, and you sound fine as well. But anyway, to answer the question about adult stuff, you got to remember Disney is in Orlando. There's a lot of stuff in Orlando to do, but particularly in the parks, Epcot is the park that most people say is more of a more grown up, because it's got all the countries and stuff like that. But to answer the question, short story, Jennifer, yes, there's a lot to do uh, for just adults. I mean, my son is 21 now, and he and I enjoy it. So we're not doing all the kid stuff anymore. But yes, there is a lot to enjoy down here. But let me make sure. I want to make sure I did answer your question, Vicky. Though, when you're planning your trip, you can look at the prices, and maybe based on the prices, you'll decide that I'll go this day, these days versus these other days. Now, to that point, when I started going to Disney World, you bought your tickets. You could buy like a 5-day ticket. You had 5 admissions. It never expired. The tickets just never expired. So I would go
okay.
this year if I had 2 days left. I would go next year and take that ticket and use that for a couple of days to get in the park. Nowadays, the tickets expire. Like, if you buy a 4-day ticket or 3-day ticket, you have 5 days to use it.
Wow.
Okay, based on the day you bought it, you got 5 days to use it. So if you don't use it, it just expires. Now, what's crazy about that? If you're going for the first time to Disney World, I would say don't buy any of the park hoppers. Yes, the Jennifer's question, is it cheaper in the winter than the summer? The summer is the crazy time.
Yeah.
Summer and Christmas, I think, are their craziest times. And then sometimes in February, March, depending on when spring break is.
Hmm.
But summer is crazy. Uh, Between Christmas and New Year's, it's crazy. Everything costs more. The hotels will cost you more. Everything will cost you more. We usually go like right at the beginning of summer, right before it really gets crazy, Memorial Day, just because of when school was letting out. But in general, it's Disney World, just like any place else, is cheaper. It's cheaper when the crowds are smaller and they want to get people there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yep.
and one thing I want to say, Vicky, Disney World is like, if you've been overseas and you go to countries and there are tourist areas in those countries where stuff
Yes.
costs more. But then you have
Yes.
like where people live, so where it's like the regular prices.
Yeah.
You just gotta find those
Yeah.
places.
Yep.
Disney is like a tourist area all day, the whole place. So you're gonna pay a ton of money for everything. I mean, we're talking food, everything you're gonna pay for. You get little tchotchkes that might cost you, at Walmart $2. Oh, the rain hoodies, those plastic rain hoodies that everybody wears when it's raining.
Yes.
You go to Walmart and it be $1. You go to Disney, they're $8.99. Okay, because
Wow.
they got the Mickey
Okay.
Mouse logo on the back.
And I kind
So
of
yeah, so
figured,
you're gonna pay a lot.
it was expensive because that's what everybody say when they talk about Disney, is that it's expensive. I'm just afraid that, and you've always shared that if you stay off the resort, it's more reasonable. But I'm just afraid that if you paying all the money to get into the parks, that you lose the experience. Do you lose the experience when you stay off the resort than you do, because that's usually what it's about. It's about the experience, not the rides and all that stuff, because you can get all that from other theme parks. But I think it was about the experience, and I wouldn't want to lose that because I'm trying to save money
Mm-hmm.
staying off.
And it's funny when you said that. I got a quick question in the chat room. They said they have a family there. Would it be cheaper for them to buy your tickets? They can't buy your tickets because with Disney you got to show ID. For you to get the Florida prices, you have to show ID.
Mm.
So they could buy them in their name, but then you can't use them. So yeah, that's how they get rid of that loophole. But to your point of the magic of Disney World, whether you stay inside or out, you can get on the monorail, which is awesome.
Okay.
You can visit any place in the parks. If you stay in, I think the Dolphin and Swan, you could actually walk to Epcot.
Okay.
What about timeshares? Okay, yep. Gonna ask a question about timeshares in a second. But the magic to me, the magic is in the parks. Now, if you stay in one of the resorts, and depending on what plan you buy, you can enter the parks early before opening. Say the park opens at 10 for everybody, you may have, I think they call them extra magic hours, where you can go in at 8 when there's not a lot of crowds. You can get in a little early.
Gotcha.
Okay. But the magic, and it all depends on what your experience is, or what experience you want. Like, for example, the character breakfasts. We used to go and go to the character breakfast at the Chef Mickey's. It's in that hotel. It's like a triangle with the monorail goes through. And we stayed outside, but you can get a reservation in there and go in there and have breakfast with Mickey. So you don't lose that. Um, to me, the only thing you lose is staying in a Disney resort, is coming in, and they're beautiful. The resorts are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But you come in, and believe me, there's a Disney store in the lobby. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna get every dime out of
Gotcha.
you. But that kind of magic. Here's the thing: when you stay, and let me answer this timeshare question, because yeah, I do have a timeshare, Jennifer, and yeah, some timeshares will give you a free ticket if you go sit for their presentation, or you stay with them for 3 days, they'll give you a free ticket. Yeah. All I say is research the timeshare company. I'm not going to say who mine is because I'm not going to give them any free publicity. But research the timeshare company, and yeah, that's an option. You go down there and stay for 3 days. Because I actually had a friend stayed at bought a room for a week at the place where I'm at, and they sat for a presentation, but they got the room was a lot cheaper. But I was about to say something else. We were talking about the Disney experience. One thing about when you stay inside is, as I say, all your meals are Disney meals. If I know people who go down, don't take a car, they get the Magic Express from the airport, and they stay in the resort, and they do all their time they spend in the resort, and that's fine. But when I say all your meals are Disney meals are expensive. Again, you go back to that idea of a tourist trap or tourist area where everything is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is
Yep.
expensive at Disney. You're talking breakfast. When we used to do Chef Mickey's, the buffet was like $35 a person. Okay. Now, yeah, you'll pay that in Disney because you're in Disney. If you went to Cracker Barrel and they said it's $35 a person, you'd be like, that's crazy. So everything is more expensive in Disney World. Just the food, especially. Um, when you get your ticket, average ticket prices for one day is about $100 to $105 a person. That doesn't get you any food. That gets you the magic of walking around in the parks. Once you're in the park, if you want food, it's going to be extra cost. Um, they do, if you do stay in the parks, if you do get a reservation in the park, they have meal plans where you can pay for a meal plan. Yes, $35 a person, even for kids. Yes, yes, it was 35 for the kids and 45 for the adults, if I remember, Jennifer. Yeah, so like 3-year-old, and oh, don't get me wrong, I got some awesome pictures of my kids dancing with me. I got great pictures. I'm not knocking it. Just know that's the budget you're talking about. Now, what some people do is they get the Disney meal. If you're staying in the parks, you can get, you got a reservation, you get the Disney meal plans where your meals are basically prepaid, where depending on what level you have, you can get 2 or 3 meals a day and they're already paid for. Um, some people like doing that because when they get there, they don't have to worry about, eating. You don't have to worry about spending more money on food. Some of the cons against it, at least one of them I heard, is that when you get the meal plan, you get caught up in we have to eat 3 times a day, you know, even if we're not hungry because we paid for it. And people were saying toward the end of their trip, they had all these points left where they got like, we got to eat up today because these points are expiring. We got to just go eat. So I jumped around a little bit, but that's to answer your original question. As far as the Disney magic, we get on the monorail. I love the monorail. It used to be that you could ride in the front with the driver and big panoramic window, and you see it was beautiful, but they don't do that anymore. They had an accident a couple of years ago, and somebody was killed when the monorail crashed, so they don't do that anymore. But yeah, so to answer that question, you don't lose too much of the magic by staying outside.
Okay.
The area around
Good.
Disney, there's lots of hotels, lots of timeshares and everything. And we're talking 15-minute drive. So it's not like you're staying on the other side of the world
Okay.
if you decide to stay outside the park. So long way to get to that answer. I'm sorry. But
No problem.
yeah, I know. But as far as, as far as the tickets, yeah, the longer you get your ticket, the less it costs per day. What's crazy, I looked at it like a 4-day ticket was like $96 a day, and 8-day ticket was like $45 a day. And it's like, well, shoot, what happens is maybe it's worth it to buy a longer ticket, even though you're not going to be there because it gives you more
You don't
flexibility.
use
And
it.
it might only cost, yeah,
Yep.
20 or 30 bucks more. I mean, I actually looked up prices for 2 3-day tickets. That's what I usually get. A 3-day ticket where you get to go to one park a day and that's it was like for adults $329. A 3-day ticket with a park hopper was $345. Now, what's the difference? For 15 bucks, I can hit multiple parks every day. You would think,
Yeah.
really, if you're a first timer to Disney, don't even try to get a park hopper. Spend a day, because you can literally spend a day in each park. You literally can. When we go down, we know what we want to do. We want to do 2 or 3 things here, and then we want to go to the other park and do 2 or 3 things there. So we use the park hopper.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, when you pay for your parking, like we stay off site, we come in, parking's about 20 bucks a day. You pay, you get in. When you leave that park and go to another park, your parking's still good. So you don't have to pay the parking.
Oh, that's good.
So once,
That's good.
yeah, so once you go into one park, it's like for every other park you do that day, it don't cost you no more. And what we usually do is we'll take that time to go out and grab something to eat and then eat it in the car going to the other park. Because the parks are 10, 15 minutes apart, So, run out, hit Burger King or whatever, and then keep it going. But that's one way to save money, is to eat, you know, whatever hotel you choose or whatever location you choose. If you're staying outside, find a place that serves breakfast, serves a free breakfast. So you get up in the morning at your hotel, have breakfast in the hotel. Yeah, I knew you were like that one. Have your breakfast in the hotel, then go to the park. Maybe you get snacks at the park during the day. I'm not saying don't eat in the park, but don't get caught in, depending on your budget. And that's what I should have caveated up front. Everything depends on the budget you want to spend. And now here's the thing. If you want to eat any of the nicer, the signature restaurants in Disney World and any of the parks, you got to make reservations like 6 months in advance. Okay.
Wow.
You got to make reservations. You just can't just roll into Cinderella's castle and, hey, I want to eat. Now, when my son was about 2, we actually did that, but it was one of those things where somebody canceled. Okay, they canceled and we just happened to be standing there. We were able to go get dessert in Cinderella's castle. But there's the Beauty and the Beast restaurant. There's tons of restaurants in there. In Epcot, I think all the countries have a restaurant in them. But you got to make reservations for those places.
What about if you go through a travel agency? Can you go through it? Because see, most travel agencies have like a slotted number of reservations at different hotels. If they book your travel, do they have access to get you into the restaurants quicker than you would if you were trying to make the arrangements on your own?
You're thinking like a concierge. I can see it in your face. That's what you're talking about. A Disney concierge.
Yes.
That's what you were doing. The travel agents, they may book a certain number, but here's the thing with Disney. If you book a reservation and don't cancel it, you're going to pay for it. Okay? If you don't cancel in time, how do you make reservations for those places? To her point, you can either go through a travel agent if you want to plan your trip like that, or just go to Disney's website. That's the thing. You can go to their website and you can do a whole lot of research. Let me give props to one website that I've used and listened to. It's called wdwinfo.com. It's the Diz Unplugged. It's a podcast, and they're travel agents, but they just talk about Disney. They've been doing this podcast for like 15 years, every couple of times a week, and they talk about things Disney. They got a forum, and I got to give them a lot of credit because I've done a lot of research with them. But yeah, to make those reservations, you go to Disney's website. But the thing, again, the travel agents, they know a lot. They know a lot of ins and outs in Disney World. And they may be able to put together a package for you. But in my personal opinion, just like we've said before, your travel agent can put a package together for you to fly to Europe, hotel and everything. If you took the time to do it yourself, if you were diligent, you could probably find that same package for less, because travel agents do not work for free. So, but travel agents would know. They would be able to explain to you the meal plan. They would be able to explain to you the ticketing system and all kinds of other things that most people don't know. The travel agents would definitely know. But like I said, there's people who will try to get a reservation at the last minute. They'll check and see if anybody cancels, because I think every day probably somebody's canceling a reservation, and it opens up. And if you happen to be there, either at the gate or you try online to make the reservation, you can just luck out and get it. Okay. Let me see. Oh, another way to save money, talking about food. You can bring food in the parks. I know you don't want to be dragging no cooler around. So you leave the cooler
too hot.
But if you
I said it's too hot.
What?
It's too hot.
Yeah, you get a cooler and you put it in your trunk and you put ice in it and you close it up and you leave it there. Because here's the thing with kids. The funniest thing to me is always when you're at Disney World and you see some kid screaming, laying on the ground screaming, having a meltdown. And I'm thinking, this parent paid $100 for this kid to come in here and have a meltdown. Okay? Kids, however you are at home, that's how you're going to be at Disney World. If your kids eat twice a day, Don't get a 3 times a day meal plan and start force feeding your kids because you paid
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
Okay? If y'all eat later, whatever you are at home, that's how you're going to be. Kids, it's sensory overload. Trust me, for kids and adults, big time sensory overload. There's a lot going on
Yeah.
from morning to night at Disney in all their parks. Kids get wiped out about 1 or 2 o'clock. Schedule some time. I mean, if you're staying in one of Disney resorts, it's easy to just go back to the room and chill for a while. But plan to do that. Go back to the room or go somewhere where you're just going to veg out for a couple of hours.
Okay.
We just tapped the surface on this one. That's what's crazy. For everybody, we're going to keep going. Vicky, you got time?
I got time. If they don't
we
mind.
got time. I'm going to keep going for a little while beyond the 30 minutes. Facebook Live will just let us keep going. The Blog Talk may cut us off in 15, but don't worry. Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, with kids especially, wear sunblock, all them stupid things that people forget to do. Big hats. The kids will love it, but it's sensory overload. And let me tell you something. Ain't nothing like a screaming kid laying on the ground screaming. And because he mad and you just spent $12 or $14 for chicken nuggets and he ain't going to eat them.
Yep.
And you paid $105 for him to get in.
Yep. I have a question about children. Mm-hmm. Can you rent strollers if you there? So if you're a parent that have a child and you like, okay, she or he is 5, they can walk, or 4, they can walk, and you get there and you realize that you need some assistance because kids do get tired. We just underestimate how Disney is and the heat there. Can you rent strollers for your kids, or do they have something similar to airport lounges that you can go into, pay your fee, and rest for a few hours? Do they have anything like that that can assist those parents?
Yes and maybe.
Okay.
You can rent strollers.
Gotcha.
You can rent strollers.
Good.
I mean, some people bring their own strollers, but they have strollers that have hoods. They have single strollers.
That's awesome.
And double
That's
strollers.
Awesome.
Yeah, they got doubles. You can put 2 kids in there, and you can put your name in a little slot on the back because they're all generic looking. And when you come out of a ride, you'll see the stroller areas where there's 50 or 100 strollers just parked there. So yeah, you can do that. As far as chill out areas, I know in Epcot they have Interventions East and West, which are just big old buildings. And they used to have some things in there, but more so people just go in there to chill.
Gotcha.
There's lots of benches and trees you can go hang out. But they don't have like a Delta Club or anything like that.
Gotcha.
But there's lots of places to go and just chill under, find a bench under some trees and just chill for a while. And that's a very even inside some buildings, some of the buildings, Okay. There's a lot of places like that, and that's a good point because even as adults, you need that
because it's hot. Florida has a different type of heat. I mean, it's the kind of heat that will wipe you out in an hour or 2. And when you have children, you just have to take those things into consideration. So you say you can pack a cooler. Can I pack my backpack with drinks and sandwiches and snacks in it for my family and not have to worry about going back and forth to the car every hour? Is it okay if I do stuff like that, or?
It is totally okay. You can if you have a cooler on wheels, you can bring it into the park. You'll have to carry it around with you. But if you have one kid and get a double stroller and put your cooler on the other side of the stroller.
Good point.
And then you can take it around
the
whole park with you. But yeah, I encourage that because for one thing, you know what your kids like to eat. So you can make snacks that they like. You can you can buy the Mickey bars. There's the popcorn. There's all kinds of stuff. Here's what's funny. Speaking of food, if you buy the meal plan, and I learned this from that website I was telling you about. If you buy the meal plan at the resort, you get a refillable mug, right? Where you can just get all the soda you want at the resort. but you can't use it in the park. Okay, if you want to get a refillable mug in the park, you got to pay another $16 for the refillable mug, and that just lets you go up to any place and just get more soda, huh? Yeah, $16. I know,
Wow.
right? How many 2 liters can you put in it for $16?
I know.
Um,
All that sugar.
yes, or you can put if you don't want to do sodas, you can do juices, whatever. You ain't got to do Kool-Aid, but you can do whatever you want. But that goes back to that point about planning.
Yeah.
If you plan your trip, again, some people don't want to go back to the car. Get a
Yeah.
stroller on wheels. Well, you got a stroller on wheels. You can keep clothes, extra clothes for the kid. If you want to wear a backpack,
Yeah.
you want to put some stuff. Because I remember when my son was small, I used to wear a backpack because you got 8,700 diapers in there. So yeah, they'll check it when you walk in, but yeah, they don't have a problem with that. They will give you free water, free ice water,
Oh,
anywhere
that's
in the
great.
park. So if you're a water drinker, that's great. But yeah, those are the little kinds of things that you do to save money. I'm not saying don't buy, because there is some magic about a Disney ice cream bar
Okay.
or even a Disney waffle. There's some magic about having that.
Yes.
There's some magic of having a Star Wars popcorn bucket.
Okay.
There's some magic about having that. So you're going to spend some money on those things. Another way to save, we're talking about that. Remember I said, if you get the poncho,
Yep.
if you get it inside, it's like $8 or $9. You get it at Walmart, it's like $1. There's two actually now. The biggest Walmart I ever seen in life, and I'm not exaggerating, is 10 minutes from Disney World. And I mean, this thing is huge.
Wow.
And they have Disney branded merchandise. Okay? So you can go in and get all your souvenirs. Don't nobody got to know. You go in and get all your souvenirs.
Good.
But things like a poncho, in Florida in the summer, it rains every day for 10 minutes. Yeah. Don't ask me why. They got some weird arrangement with God. But it rains every day for 10 minutes and then it stops. And what happens during that 10 minutes, everybody leaves. So after the rain, people are like, oh, nobody in the park. So having a poncho, having that stuff. Another thing, and I'm jumping around and I'm sorry. Did you have a question? I'm sorry, because you know me. I'm just going with it.
No, you go on. What you're
else
sharing, you're sharing a lot of really good information.
Okay. Well, let me say this, and this applies to any vacation you take. Don't go out and buy a bunch of new clothes and you're gonna wear them the first time when you're on vacation, particularly shoes. Okay, you go to Disney, you're gonna get your steps in. Believe that, you're gonna get them. But nothing worse than being at Disney World with a new pair of sneakers you just bought, and them bad boys are tight, and you got 11,000 steps today. All right. So if you get new clothes as well, because you can find some stuff and it's like, yo, this don't fit right. You know how, ladies, my side hanging. I know this shirt, but you're gonna get some clothes, get them a couple weeks before you go, put them on. All right.
That is funny.
Your shoes. Them pumps look fly in the window. Again, 7,000 steps later, your bunion's gonna be mad at you. Break in your clothes because you're going to be doing a lot of walking. There's lots of crowds. Again, depending on when you go. There's, in general, and this is something I just recently started hearing about. Disney used to have the reputation as being a very clean place. That the bathrooms were spotless all the time. And from things I've been hearing lately, that's not the case anymore. Why do I bring that up? Because I don't want you to be surprised if you find a bad situation. I mean, they do a job, but again, Disney's a business. They may be putting fewer people into those areas. Things happen. How just regular pedestrians, we kind of nasty. So, but just be aware of that. I said at the beginning, Disney is a business. It's a magical place, but it is a business. And they run it like a business.
Yep.
Okay, so
I
Everything
have a,
you pay for.
I'm sorry, I
I'm
have a
sorry. Go ahead.
question. You mentioned
Hmm.
it, and you brought it up when you said crowds. I know when I went, and it's been years ago, there was like a lot of lines. And that's with any
Yeah.
amusement park or so do they have like I know when I go on trips and I want to get in attractions, I'll purchase a skip the line pass or skip the
Hmm.
line, you know, like ticket. I pay extra for that
Yeah.
and that allows me to go ahead of the 15 million people line. Do they have stuff
Hmm.
like that at Disney now?
They do have that.
Oh, cool.
And it's funny. The Disney has it and Universal. And by the way, Universal Studios is literally 30 minutes away from Disney World, so you can hit both places. Um, Disney's called Fast Pass, and now they have an app called My Experience app that you can put your Fast Passes in. You can reserve your Fast
Oh,
Passes. And what Fast Passes do will say, okay, you want to get on this ride? Here's an opening. So say if it's 2 o'clock, there might be an opening for this ride you want at 5:30. So you have from 5:30 to 6:30 to get back and use that Fast Pass. You can get up to 3 Fast
okay.
Passes at any one time. Again, me and my son, we do that, and we'll get Fast Passes in different parks. We'll have a
Yep.
Fast Pass here at this time. We'll have a Fast Pass somewhere else for 3 hours later because we know, okay, we'll
Good
have time to
point.
get there. Yeah. So, but the Fast Pass, you get there and it it doesn't guarantee you walk totally in, but you do bypass the line. There's a Fast Pass line, so that you might only have to wait, 5 minutes. Sometimes you might have to wait 20 minutes of walking, but that's as opposed to an hour and a half
Yes.
of being in a line. So you use the it's called my Disney, my experience, my Disney experience, but it's an app. And when you buy your tickets, it lets you put your ticket number into the app, and you can link, like, we link our tickets. So when we get a fast pass, we both got it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they do have that. Universal has that too, but they charge you like $100 a day extra for that. Yeah, same thing I said. Yeah, that I almost said that too. But yeah, but Universals work a little different in that it's like all the rides are covered. So every ride you go to, you're automatically in Fast Pass. Whereas Disney, you got to select the rides. And again, with Fast Passes, the earlier you plan it, the better.
Yeah.
Like, we usually get our tickets and then the night before try to plan out our Fast Pass. The Fast Passes,
Gotcha.
just got a question on Fast Passes. The Fast Passes are free. You get the app, the My Disney Experience app. It's free also. Everything's free. Now, a couple things they charge you for, not related to Fast Pass, are those bracelets. You ever see, they got the Disney, I forgot what they call them, but you can get a bracelet now. It's like $16 because I priced them. I didn't buy one, but I priced them. And you can like put your credit card in there so that when you want to pay for stuff,
Oh,
you can just boom,
that's
boom.
scary.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: like, you have kids. What people do is they get them for their kids, and they put a limit on. So, say you tell your kids you can spend $20 a day, so the kids can buy whatever they want for $20.
Okay.
Now, here's another thing: while we're talking about buying stuff, you can buy anything you buy in the parks. You can have delivered to the front gate and pick it up on your way out,
Oh, okay.
which keeps you from having to carry
Carry
stuff
stuff.
around.
Good point.
If you stay in one of their resorts, I believe you can actually have your stuff delivered to your room,
That's good.
which I mean, that's a good perk.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good.
but I know I jumped off of the lodging, the rooms a bit, but again, I was able to just go playing around and found some rooms at some of their resorts for like a $99 a night.
That's not bad.
You could,
Is it
yeah,
for how big are the rooms?
that was a
Are,
room. I think that was a room for two.
okay. Pretty
So,
standard.
it wasn't, I know in Europe it's like a room for one. No, it wasn't none of that. But it was a room for two, I believe. But again, if you plan far enough ahead, and they have like 17 or 18 resorts in these. I didn't realize they had that many hotel spaces, resorts. But they have the budget friendly, the moderate, and then the elite or whatever. You can get a room for $700 or $800 a night
Okay.
at some of the hotels. Again, that don't give you a ticket into the park, though. That give you a bed. Our brother's not there. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'll be honest, when I've gone on a monorail, and I think it's the Contemporary, or I forgot which hotel it is, but it's a beautiful red and white hotel, and the monorail comes right like upstairs. It's beautiful. You know, just to be able to walk out of your room and boom, get on the monorail and go where you got to go.
Oh, wow.
Um, just like Chef Mickey's at that Triangle Hotel. Hey, cuz. My cousin just signed in. But to be able to just come out of your room now, okay, I stayed in the Dolphin and Swan years ago. The rooms are beautiful. I'm not going to say they're not. But I just, unless I catch that $99 room, that's not me. I'm not spending $400 a night to sleep.
Yeah.
Because literally, for the most part, that's what you're doing. But if you do if you stay in the resort and you don't have a car, now we have Uber, so it changes the dynamic. So with Uber, you can go and get an Uber to a restaurant or wherever you want to go.
That's true.
But a lot of times people got stuck in the resort. And like I said, when you're staying in there without a car, all your meals are Disney meals. It's very convenient to be able to go downstairs in the hotel and eat, or go to the park whenever, go over to the park and just not worry about money. If that's the budget you're in, fine. God bless you, go for it. But when I looked at their meal plans, some of their meal plans were per person were like $100 a day.
Question regarding meal plans.
Yeah.
Questions. If I decide to stay outside of the resort and decide to can I still get the meal plan, or I can only get that if I'm staying in the side of Disney Resort?
As far as I know, you can only get their meal plan if you are staying in the resort at one of their resorts.
Because if you think about it, for an adult, no, I'm sorry. If you think about it, for an adult, if you're spending $100 a day on 3 meals, and that includes drinks, you could go through that on just your drinks. And it's not a bad deal if you think about adults, but for children, that's extreme.
Yeah. And even for adults,
to me,
it's a lot of eating. It's a lot of eating. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a whole lot of eating to get that. But the meal plan just gives you where you don't have to pay at everything you go.
Yeah.
You can still eat in there. The upside of it is, again, like I said, I was reading some posts. People said, and they said their biggest problem was toward the end of their stay, they had all these extra points that they were like, "Yo, we got to eat today."
Yeah.
And it's like you get another dessert. You got 2 more points. You got to read the page for. We're going to use them.
That's funny.
And that's a real valid. I can see that as a valid point. But anyway, yeah. Any questions you got? I mean, I know I jumped around a lot.
No, you're fine. It's just you pretty much touched on everything, because I just wanted to know if my main questions were, if I decide to go and stay outside, will I lose the experience? And you said that I will still be able to experience it, because that's what it's all about. It's all about experiences, especially for children. If you got small kids, they want to spend time with the characters. They want to take pictures. They want to see the parades in the evening and do all of that stuff. To me, that kind of stuff stays in your memory more so than a ride does. And just being able to make sure that I experience that and then save money at the same time, because I don't really want to have to, because like you say, you can stay outside, go grocery shopping, and if you have a kitchenette in your hotel, you're good. You can fix all and prepare all of your meals, or maybe just have one meal in the park. And just so you pretty much answered a lot of the questions that I had, and you jumping around was helpful because you touched on some things that was totally unrelated to just the planning.
Yeah. Okay. And this was part 1. If we need to, we can go another time and finish up.
I
mean, this was good.
Yeah, this was great. Good. This was great.
Yeah,
so I say we
I'm
planned
glad.
for part 2.
Yeah. We ran 46 minutes on this one. Hey, But if everybody who chimed in with questions, thank you so much. All my family and friends that tuned in. Let me just say this: our past shows, this show will be on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Blog Talk Radio. If you like the show, leave us a 5-star review. And if you are a sister that be going places, visit our Cafe Press store at cafepress.com/ASistuhBeGoingPlaces. And you can also ask your questions in email at ASistuhBeGoingPlaces@gmail.com. Vicky, as always, thank you so much. Everybody else, thank you. And we will talk again soon.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.